there, YouTube. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I've got Supermutant Magic Academy by Jillian Tamaki. Jillian Tamaki first, kind of broke open for me with this one summer, which is drawn by her and written by her, I think it's her cousin, Mariko. This book just landed like a bomb when I first read it. It was like, holy cow, this is so good. This artist is so good. So then I immediately went out and got her other stuff, Skim, also by her and her cousin Mariko, and then a collection of short stories called Boundless. I think those are the three main works. The one that I hadn't picked up yet that I just got recently was the Supermutant Magic Academy. This one, I believe, was originally released as a series of just like once a day type of things online, and then this is a collection from Drawn and Quarterly. So as with most Drawn and Quarterly books, awesome production, great book, no complaints about how this is put together. These were definitely, you can see, really rough, like, her art, she's an amazing illustrator. This is just like picking up a pen and going for it, I think. I don't even know that there's any sketching going on in these. Maybe some of them. Some of them you'll see are more rough than other ones. But this is an artist just playing on the daily. So the conceit here is something like Xavier's School for Mutants mixed with Hogwarts. And it just starts out as a bunch of one-off short strips of these different kids with their different mutant powers, kind of making there's always a punchline by the end. That continues throughout most of the book. Towards the end, there's a narrative that like wraps up all the little stories that have come together. I do like this approach, and it's something I wish I was brave enough to do in my own work, is just start writing with no conception of where it's going or necessarily who the characters are, and let them kind of lead you and tell you through the story. It's very one-off and unorganized at first, but it does wrap up in a story at the end. I don't think this book like congeals into the most interesting story possible, but I really respect artists who work that way, and some of them pull that off more intentionally, building a story. This is definitely more intention as like a daily comic strip type of thing. But you'll get the characters kind of using their powers. So I've just tagged some ones that I thought were funny. This one is this character that I really like, which is like the rebellious art kid, Francis. The teacher's like, Francis, I'm not persecuting you for subverting gender norms. I'm simply asking you to refrain from smoking in class. That one struck me. I'm an instructor. I believe Jillian Tamaki is also an instructor at SNUY, I think. I think that's where she's at. She's definitely an instructor. So you get those things where kids are picking up on the kind of critiques that are going on in culture right now, the hot button issues in culture, and they'll throw them at you to try and get out of some other thing that you're asking them not to do. So that one cracked me up. A lot of these are critiques of just high school kids, high school behavior, male and female. So both of the ones on this page cracked me up. It looks like a book for kids. It's definitely not a book for kids, though. So, wow, check it out. It's Cher. She brought her baby. Holy crap. And these are, like, obviously jock guys. Can you believe that she and old Dougie had a kid? No way, man. She still looks really good, though. Josh, what? She's a mother now. Can you let her be a non-sexualized object for 2 seconds? Besides, society's obsession with regaining post-baby bodies is not only unrealistic, but virtually impossible. Yeah, okay, sure, yeah, I guess. Still, you gotta admit that baby is gonna be so hot. So I like, going into this, like, political rant here, and then just subverting it with, like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. That happens numerous times throughout the book. It's kind of funny, because I actually wind up not knowing. I assumed that Jillian Tamaki would be more on this side of the argument, but she kind of always subverts the stuff in a funny way, and at least takes it tongue-in-cheek. This one's really funny, too, having gone through art school and seen a number of, performance art throughout the years at Berkeley and then at Cranbrook in critique. So, hey, what's going on? Shh. I think Frances is my favorite character. Frances is performing her newest piece. It's about globalization and cultural genocide. Are those cotton balls? It's very powerful. Okay. And then she's just sitting there naked with cotton balls all over her. And he's staring at her, probably thinking, like, what the fuck? Which is often what you think when you see these performers. In my experience, it's what I think when I see him. But the longer the character looks at it, the more touched the character gets by it, and it communicates. So I thought that was a funny one. This is another character I really like that he never does much with the other characters because he seems to be like a Dr. Manhattan character that exists outside of time and physics, and so you can see he's like time traveling. He's has some kind of relationship with this gal here, but he's only checking back in, every 60 years or something. So existing in all places at once, or popping around between all places at once, dissolving. There's a lot of fun little gags there. Here's another one where a character is using their mutant powers, so, messing around with the puzzle and having a hard time, and then just goes, fuck puzzles, and uses his laser eyes to chop all the puzzle piece edges off and just make squares and sticks it together all out of order. So there's a lot of that. I do like, even though it seems like a black and white book, there is spot color put in here from time to time. There are gradients, so you can tell that it's really just up to what she was feeling like on the day. I'm assuming these are mostly digital drawings. A lot of them have that look. Here's another Frances one I really like. And this is another thing that I ran into a lot in art school. Feminist art that's trying to be critical, but kind of undoes its own purpose by, like, it's trying to get men to feel guilty for looking at women's bodies, but then it puts big old targets all over the spots you're not supposed to look at, and then you're supposed to feel guilty for, like, looking at the thing that they're drawing your attention to. So I was always very critical of that. Not that I'm against feminist statements in art, it's just any statement that kind of undermines itself cracks me up a little bit. So I was really glad that she did this piece. Oh my God, wow, is that your Halloween costume? In a way. What is it? I call it Si Vis Pacem Parabellum, device for the address and return of the male gaze, which is, a term we hear all the time in art schools. Like, if people haven't encountered that, it's especially applied to people in the late 1800s or so, with the academic art always painting nude females, and they critique those artists for just being like pervy guys just wanting to paint naked chicks. And in the art world, that's like criticized as being called the male gaze. So that's what she's referring to. And this character goes, huh, that's actually really clever. But I like it because it's exactly that thing that I'm talking about, where, like, we're programmed as humans to look at eyes. You can't ignore an eye. And so she's trying to, by making you look at the ass, draw attention to the fact that you're looking at ass and then feel guilty about looking at ass. But, at the same time inviting you to look at her ass. So I always found those kind of projects funny. I had a classmate that drew a picture of herself naked, made a stencil of herself naked, legs spread open, I believe. And it said, like, you can't have this, or don't look at this, or something like that. And then when spray painted it all over walls all over town, I thought, well, you just, like, now we've all got this for free. So I always found that kind of art to be funny. This one's really funny because it's a poking fun at comics that take themselves too seriously, and then it's a conversation Tori has with me all the time about a lot of the comics I get, about how pervy every book I get, she's like, there's a dick in it. Why are you guys so obsessed with your dicks? Why does it always have weird, smutty sex stuff in it? And I didn't think that many of my comics had that, and then now every time I get something, I notice, oh yeah, there's a weird sex thing in it, or there's always nudity. So it's something I'm constantly aware of now because I get poked fun of for it. So here, this girl and her boyfriend are making out, and they roll over a comic. What's that? It's the newest issue of Power Woman. Hey, do you read comics too? And then the boy says, Joni, you actually like these? These comics are totally sexist. Not to mention that it's a tacit endorsement of violence. What you need to be reading are graphic novels. Here, I just picked this up from the library. What's it about? An aging typewriter store owner becomes obsessed with death and a girl he saw on the subway when he was 18. That's it? He also secretly ejaculates into fruit at the 24-hour deli. Ah, yes. and she's going, oh, yeah, of course that's going on. And that's kind of Tori's response to most of my books. The other funny thing is, I want to do a book about I've always wanted to do a story about someone who owns a vacuum cleaner repair shop, and like how someone gets to that as like that's the business I want to open. And the story I have in my mind does have to do with an obsession with a girl that he met in junior high. So that felt very self-damning to me. I was like, damn it, I fit right in. I thought I was doing something unique. I fit right in. Here's the Dr. Manhattan character. So him and this other character, the Laser Eye character, he's obviously blown him up, and they're just sitting out being zen. And he's also out in outer space just playing with the dog. But here, so I wrote this rap song. Can I run the lyrics by you? Maybe another time. And that character is like a counterpoint to all of the other teenage shenanigans, I guess, in the book. This character, Marcia, is probably the most emotionally interesting character in the book. She's a lesbian with feelings for her friend who seems to be straight and is like the pretty girl at school. This character also is very visually reminiscent of one of the characters in this one, Summer. So I don't know if this came before or after, but it seemed like a visual prototype for that. Here's a good example of a much cruder drawing style, less worked out, that some of them have, but also one that cracks me up. So this is about mutant kids, and here you have this kid jerking off in bed, and it actually explodes, and the newspaper says, tragedy, local boy killed. So that would be a terrible mutant power to have, that when you have an orgasm, you literally explode. So there's a lot of fun play with like mutant powers gone wrong. Love that one. That's more like this one, Summer. Just beautiful, just like drawings with movement and weight and life to them. They almost seem like photo referenced how realistic everything moves and sets in the image, but then so cartoony. I'm really curious if she uses photo reference and then abstracts, or if that's coming out of her mind with such natural imagery. Here's another really sketchy one to show different styles, from a finished to a sketchy one. But this is this character, Marcia, and she's now contemplating, like, I need to tell Wendy how I feel. If I don't, I might literally go insane. I could actually die. Poodles die every day from broken hearts. When the elderly owners die, it's possible. I'm no better than a poodle. So she's really struggling with needing to tell her friend that she's gay and that she has feelings for her. This is another one that resonated with stuff that me and Tori talk about. Tori likes playing. I'm not a video game guy at all. For as much as I love comics, I've never been much involved with like the geek culture surrounding it, surprisingly. But Tori really likes video games, and she's talked about the assumptions people make about her as a girl involved in video games and how difficult it can be for her to. And other girls I've talked to that like comics, talk about walking into the comic shop or just the assumptions that are made. So this one stood out to me. Oh, don't forget, Jeremy's bringing his girlfriend tonight. Why? You guys are being jerks just because she's a girl. No, we're being jerks because she's a girlfriend. Yeah, a non-gamer girlfriend. Boo. She's going to be all like, what's this? What's that? Why are you talking like that? Tee-hee-hee-hee. Total boner killer. Not every girl is a giggling airhead, just so you know, dumbass. Hey guys, this is Natalie. Hi all. Oh cool, your dice has sparkles in it. And then she just fucking whacks her in the face for like reinforcing the stereotype. So I like that. It's like, these conversations about stereotype and assumption, but then also admitting that, yeah, there are people that fit those stereotypes, and that may be frustrating for a character who's trying to break them, but like, can you really hate on her for being her? There's another one. The picture of Dorian Gray, ew. Ah, shit, this is some sort of gay book, isn't it? 6 hours later, and these guys fall in love and have a wonderful relationship. So there's this constant, like, tongue-in-cheek look at things that are usually politicized more one way or the other. So I really like that in that book. It doesn't feel very preachy. You can be on any side of the debate and still enjoy it. And then this, to me, is the best sequence in the book. It's the heartbreaking one. It's not where the story really kicks into high drive and having a story, but it is a longer sequence where I forgot her name already. Marcia. I'm really bad with names. Marcia, yeah. Marcia is going over to tell her friend that she's in love with her. So she goes over and lets her know she's gay. She's like, oh, thank God. Wait, what? Now that you're out, you can be free to be you. Live out loud. You knew? Is that okay? I mean, I guess. Oh. Marcia, I'm so glad you came out to me, that you feel comfortable enough to do that. It really means a lot to me, and I want you to know that this changes nothing about our friendship. I'm going to be the best ally a girl ever had. So, like, what you'd think you would want from a friend, they're being super supportive of who you are, they want to be your ally, but for Marcia, it's like, well, she wants to be in a relationship with her. So there's this weird, I love that moment of like support and heartbreak at the same time. Oh no, did I say something wrong? The internet said to be supportive but non-invasive. So then you get like this girl feeling the social pressures about how you're supposed to deal with your friend being gay, and like, I did the right thing and you're still sad, and just a lot of the pressures I think kids are dealing with as these, social narratives around these politicized things play out with ways you're supposed to do it or not. Oh no, I'm making this all about me, aren't I? The internet said, and just the confusion and self-critique. It's not that. And she's trying to tell her it's just that I was hoping you would like me, but she can't do it. And what is that? It's just like the only thing she can pull out is like, you have such nice hair. I'm trying to tell her, I think you're so beautiful, you're so pretty. I have nice hair. I mean, yeah, it's like so super shiny and strong. It's probably really healthy because you eat so healthy. It always picks up the wind perfectly, but even when it's messy, it kind of falls in this way that, it's like charming or whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? You want to borrow my shampoo? And I cracked up, but also found that so heartbreaking. And then you see Marcia going home with, critiquing herself, like, why didn't I tell her? What an idiot, your hair's so nice. And she's just got this, I just wanted your shampoo. She obviously, like, gave into that. So I really love that type of writing, that very human, funny, at the same time as heartbreaking writing. That was what's so good about most of her work that has longer form narratives. So even in these shorter forms, she comes back to that. Here's another. This is the Dr. Manhattan guy. There's a bunch of sperms dead in a napkin. So very much teenage stuff about sex. And then the end of the book is just stuff going on while the prom is going on. And there's a lot of just, wrapping up the different characters that you've been introduced to, their different storylines, and kind of an emotional coda on the piece. So very enjoyable book. It's hard to read it straight through because it is so piecemeal. It's something that you can pick up and put down and pick back up and put down, and then towards the end, it starts to pick up steam. So highly recommend this. Highly recommend, like really highly top of my recommendation list, would recommend this one, Summer, and also Skim and Boundless. Anything by Jillian Tamaki. I think she has a new book coming out in a year or so, and I'm sure that's going to be fantastic as well. All right, thanks for checking this out and listening along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell. And then you get them!